All right. Good morning, everybody. Are we in Miami? Unfortunately not. I have to wear my vest today because it's cold outside in San Francisco. But welcome to Zendesk 2020 Investor Day, presented virtually instead of on the beach under the sun.
Hey everybody. So sorry we had to cancel late and so last minute. It's just devastating. Since we can't be together, here's some of the highlights of the keynotes. You would have heard me talk about how we have grown as a company. Zendesk customers are now managing conversations, interactions, and relationships with more than 900 million people a year. That's a lot. And then I would have introduced our new briefing center here in San Francisco called The Kitchen. Change of clothes. The whole idea about the kitchen is that that's where you get together for your conversations over your meals, and that's what we want to recreate for our customers. I would then have invited my good friend Nikki from Canteen here in San Francisco to join us.
I'm sorry we're not going to be able to meet up at Relate in Miami this week. I'd otherwise been looking forward to making some Danish open-faced sandwiches together with Mikkel on this sprouted rye bread. In the meantime, if you happen to be in San Francisco, come on by our restaurant here on Market Street. We'd love to have you, and the way I see it, we kind of owe you one, don't we?
And then we would also talk a lot about small businesses and how small businesses are often started in the kitchen. And my good friend Ben Chestnut would talk more about that.
Hey, MailChimp's motto is listen hard, change fast, and I really admire Zendesk for doing just that. I was really looking forward to meeting all of you in warm, sunny Miami this week. Oh well, until we meet again.
The next morning, after all the parties, we would have then kicked it off Miami style. And I would be wearing this. And to help me welcome everyone to Miami, I would have been joined on stage by the very person who put Miami on the world map in the 80s through the hit series Miami Vice.
Hi there, this is Don Johnson. I am really disappointed I didn't get a chance to see you at Relate Miami, but we would have had a blast, I guarantee you that. I'm hoping that we get a chance to do this again and I can be there in person. And trust me, my Zendesk friends, there is life after Miami.
Still so cool. Relate in Miami would have been so cool. So bummed we had to cancel. Thanks for your understanding. Back to normal. Another big part of my keynote would of course be our product announcements. Product is still coming out, so stay tuned for more news. Wednesday morning, Wednesday the 4th, 6 a.m. Pacific.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us on our virtual call today. I want to just make sure that everybody sees our safe harbor statement. A replay of this presentation will remain on our website, investor.zendesk.com. And without further delay, let me just share with you some of the things that we're going to discuss today. We're going to talk a little bit about how Zendesk is leading around CRM innovation. We have deep roots in creating the best customer experiences for our companies that are our customers. Our modern solutions and platform empower all companies to transform their businesses and their experiences. We're looking to evolve that into the broader customer journey. So you hear a lot about that today. Our speakers today will include, we'll go through some of the product stuff. Again, opportunity to talk with Tom Kaiser in the middle here about why people will choose Sunshine. Elena will close us up with a financial conversation. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce Mikkel, our founder, CEO, about our evolution.
Thanks, Mark. Yep. Founder, CEO, and chief cocktail maker. Disappointed that we can't be in Miami. But thanks for joining us on this virtual event. I'm looking at a room with 20 people on their laptops, so it's not that much different from a regular investor event. Anyway, we were supposed to be in Miami and have this event as part of our Relate conference. Our annual event where we bring people together, talk about our products and kind of engage with our customers. And it's unfortunate that we had to, really unfortunate that we had to cancel. As you know, we brought it to the beginning of the year this year, and it was really meant to kick off the year, create a lot of excitement. So, super unfortunate that we had to cancel, but we're trying to make the best out of it, repurposing a lot of our content, and host a number of different kind of virtual events over the next days and weeks to create excitement about our products and engage with our customers. We would have been in company with a bunch of different great customers that we are working with, presenting their stories on how they are innovating to keep up with customer expectations and serve their customers. And these companies span many industries and range from like very innovative, cool startups, massive gaming communities, very large enterprises. And we would also have had a number of customers start talking about how they have innovated with Sunshine. So we would have had bestseller from my neck of the woods in Scandinavia to talk about how they're using Sunshine. We would have had Netflix there that are also using Sunshine really in an innovative way. And we would have had companies like Four Seasons to talk about how they're using Sunshine Conversation. So, a number of great companies would have joined us in Miami. But we're trying to figure out how to repurpose a lot of this content. Taking a step back, we just ended a few months ago, 2019. It was a great year for us. We ended, as you know, at a little over $800 million in revenues. We grew 36% year over year. We are in a great place today, 3,500 employees. We have about a third of our workforce here in San Francisco where we are today. So really well set up for the future, really well set up, really building a great company here to deal with all the things we want to do in the future. We are really honored to be working with so many great companies that are truly redefining industries, truly disrupting industries, and truly disrupting what are products and services with a totally new kind of approach to the customer experience. So like some of the companies we'd like to emphasize and that we would also have had with us in Miami, companies like Nubank, for example, out of Brazil, that are doing amazing things and are truly disrupting with a direct-to-consumer model, direct-to-consumer model, and a very no friction approach to customer engagement, truly disrupting the credit card industry in Brazil. But we also talk about customers like Peloton, of course, that have revolutionized the dreaded experience of working out and filling the space between the solitary choice of, the at-home workout and the consuming social choice of heading to the gym. But also we're working with companies like Black & Decker too that are long-standing leaders in their space, now reinventing themselves and doing innovative things, going direct to consumer. And so it's been shaping us. It's been shaping us working with these kind of companies, and really excited to be part of this revolution of changing the business models based on a better customer experience. To summarize a little bit also what happened to us over the last 10 years. 10 years ago, we had less than 5,000 paid customer accounts on the platform. We are approaching 160,000 now. Our customers reached something like 7 million people back then on an annual basis in 2010. We are now at approaching 1 billion people, 920 million people are being served or being engaged with on the Zendesk platform annually. And that's a number from 2019. And of course, the number of interactions is growing to 18 million interactions annually in 2010. Today, in the number of 2019 was 2.6 billion interactions on our platform. So we're really growing with our customers to address more parts of the customer relationship, of course, starting with customer service, expanding into the entire customer experience. So we were founded, 13 years ago with a simple mission. It's making it easy. Our roots are very much in customer service, but we really evolved to cover more of the whole customer experience and customer relationship. We expect, as you know, we've guided towards more than $1 billion in revenue in 2020, and are, of course, on a path to become a $1 billion revenue company. And that's very much driven by need in the market, by companies wanting and having to constantly adapt and keep up with customer expectations. And our product innovation helps them do just that. Because customer experience is still the biggest differentiator. We know that We know that customers today have zero patience. We as consumers have zero patience, and 80% of us is going to switch to a competing product, competing service based on a poor experience. If this thing doesn't work, it's so easy to get something in that works better, and if you can roll it out quickly, why not do it? But it is hard to build these great experiences, and this is, of course, where we try to help our customers. We call ourselves very much a service-first CRM. Today, companies have to very much keep earning the business from their customers every single day. In this convenience economy, in this subscription economy, retaining and earning the business of the customer every single day is critical, and you have to think of beyond kind of the transactional component of your customer relationship to really thinking about the lifetime value. We come from that world ourselves, and we are taking our service mentality, if you will, and applying to any other part of the customer relationship. We've been adapting, we've been changing rapidly to keep up with the market, to keep up with our own customer expectations as a service-first CRM. And we've gone beyond just our core in customer service to what we believe today in leading CRM innovation more broadly. So today, we're very excited. We announced this morning the new support suite, the new sales suite, and the general availability of Sunshine with a bunch of new capabilities and features also announced to come later. So very, very excited about where we are today. We're going to hear more about the support suite that now makes it super easy for channel shifting. We're going to bring in all the new messaging channels. The new sales suite brings all the core components and tools and channels into the same package. And also now adds chat so you can do lead conversion online. Has prospecting tools built in, powered by data from Clearbit. Fantastic offering. And then, of course, Sunshine now out of beta. You're going to hear a lot more about these products later today, so I'm not going to talk so much about it. I do want to mention some examples in the Sunshine world. Some of the customers that would also talk at Relate. Indochino is this online tailor, and they're modeling all of their kind of customer preferences, customer measurements, customer orders, etc., on the Sunshine platform. So it's available not only for their customers, but also for every employee in Indochino. So they have all these information at their fingertips when they serve their customers. ASG is a software vendor, IT system management. They have modeled all their licensing contracts in Sunshine, so it's available for everybody in the organization when they serve their customers, but also for customers when they serve themselves. And MakeSpace, another local example here, takes away the struggle of storage, and they have brought all the location and all the statuses of all customers' items into Sunshine, so service representatives and of course customers themselves have all this information at their fingertips. Very, very cool, and just creates a much, much smoother, sexier customer experience. Another important part, of course, of Sunshine is conversations, and you're going to hear more about that too. Messaging-driven conversations are taking over customer communication. It's one of the fastest growing products that we have ever seen in our portfolio. We launched Conversations last year to help businesses build these type of messaging solutions into their products, into their games, into their services, into their apps. And it's really, really taking off. Like how we've seen messaging solutions taking off in Southeast Asia, how we've seen it taking off in Latin America, starting to see that in Europe, and they're starting to see that in the US too. We're talking with a bunch of brands across all industries about helping them, creating that intimate kind of messaging experience into their apps and broadening it out on all the social messaging channels too. As you know, we work with companies like Four Seasons, LVMH, and a bunch of other great companies. The mandatory slide, we are well positioned for continued strong growth. To emphasize, we are building a business set up for long-term growth. We have an expanding TAM driven by the the growth and the rising consumer expectations, our broader reach into the CRM space. We have a lot of product innovation that opens up adjacent markets. And of course, we have strong momentum both in the SMB space and in the enterprise space. That's all I'm going to say for now, and I'm going to turn it over to Adrian and his team to talk more about the product releases. Thanks.
Thank you, Mikkel. So today, what Shauna and I, my colleague, wanted to talk to you about was the product releases that we have coming out and a little bit of the vision that we see for the product organization. As a reminder, at last year's Investor Day, we talked a little bit about the four drivers of growth that we see in product. Firstly, that we're planning to power every customer-facing conversation. I think you saw us making significant investments there, including the acquisition of Smooch. We talked a lot about leveraging smarter technologies to enable better customer experiences. We've been long-term believers and betters on AI being applied across the product family in CX to give better customer experiences, and also in uses of big data and the way that we can leverage that data. And that has continued. We've talked about extending our footprint in support, sales, and beyond. Last year, you saw us launch the Duet offering, bringing together sales and service and thinking more about our CRM platform. And finally, we thought about refining CX through our open CRM platform, Sunshine. Tremendous amount of investment in R&D from us there that Norm and his team are beginning to leverage out in the field, and we're seeing real customer examples and partner traction upon. Mikkel talks a little bit about how we think about service-first CRM solutions, and I think it is important to understand the provenance of this thinking within Zendesk, right? We come from a support background. We've been building solutions for a long time that are focused on customer experience. I think that's very different in some ways from the way that you would begin if you were thinking about it from a sales perspective, where you're really driving the close event and driving all of the information into a single relational database record. We're more about the broad experiences. I think from our investments 5-6 years ago in embeddables through to Sunshine and some of the other things we've been doing today, we see very much this continuum of thinking about it first from the point of view of the end user or customer experience, and that driving the needs of CX. If you think about it in that way, you have to be much more homogeneous, open to other systems, and think more about where you live within the ecosystem of an IT department and the systems that they have and the data-rich environment that drives those customer experiences. We have, I think we had a good year for delivery last year. We responded rapidly to the needs in some of our overseas markets for WhatsApp support. I think our acquisition helped with that, but we also recognize that with over, I think, 2 billion users, we're seeing brands open up to private messaging over social channels, and that's been incredibly important. We innovated in Guide Enterprise. We invested significantly in our AnswerBot technology, thinking a lot about how we can bring automation to bear to various customer conversations and self-service. And of course, we launched Sunshine Conversations and invested in Sunshine. So, we continue to pace around multiple events, multiple releases per year, evolve strategically based on market movements, and think a lot about competition. But primarily, it's about what our customers are doing, what they need, and the enterprise motions that we want to build in our marketplaces. So today, in that vein, we're announcing 3 key launches. Firstly, I'm going to talk to you about the new support suite. Suite was launched a couple of years ago, been tremendously successful for us. And we are evolving it into, I think, the modern messaging-based and multi-channel, omni-channel world. We'll talk more about that. Our sales tool has been sold mostly independently or through the Duet motion, but I think with Sales Suite, we can really enrich the offering so we help our customers more with prospecting, with the generation of leads, as well as with closing leads and closing deals. And then finally, all of that is going to be underpinned by the general availability of the Sunshine platform and the strength of that Sunshine platform, which we are, trust me, relieved to get out so that our customers can really start using it in production with all of the trust that requires. Firstly, the support suite. As we're launching the new agent desktop and adding messaging into the suite, social messaging, we are also changing the price for the first time in many years. So we're going from $89 to $99. I think there's a special deal right now where you can still get in on old pricing. Thanks, Norm. And I think $149 to $169 is the other price move. And so we're building a lot more value in this product. And as a result, I think we're gonna leverage some of that. So the things that we're talking about, and I'm gonna drill in on the new agent workspace. We've really redefined the platform of the core support product, which is the core of the suite. And we're making the new agent desktop really the home for the majority of interactions that happen in CX land for our customers, in a very modern and contextual way. Going back to the roots of Zendesk, thinking about convention over configuration, thinking about the experience of work and making that as simple as possible, and driving engagement through just great grassroots product experiences. That's part of the ethos and essence of who we are. Secondly, we're adding in for suite users access to the $5 a seat social messaging add-on, which again will be powerful. We recognize that social messaging it's just becoming more prevalent. It's a very different thing to, I think, shouting into Twitter and complaining to a brand. This is very much more personal. It's very much more about having one-on-one conversations. And so to have those conversations as an agent, I think we have to acknowledge the new reality of many of the digital businesses that we work with, which is they don't have people on the phone over here in this room or in this country or at this BPO and people chatting here and people doing email here. It's a much more fluid thing where people are dealing with classes of customer. And those customers can contact over any channel. They can reach out. And so at the core of the new agent workspace is a new unified conversational control that allows you to kind of channel switch to engage where you need to engage and build in that way. Secondly, we're pulling in Sunshine platform richness into that experience and putting it at the moment of contact into the hands of the agent so that the conversations could be contextual. So you can see from Sunshine events or from Zendesk events or from integrations with third parties all of the actions that the customer has taken. What is this customer's click stream? What is their transaction stream? What are the things that they've been doing? These kinds of things and full demographics, as well as making the interface more real time so that agents can react to incoming inquiries and other things. And then as a principle, we've always felt that that support it's a team sport. It's a collaborative engagement. And through the collaboration add-on, which has been available in support, we've added side conversations and what we call light agents so that every single person in the company can engage in support really easily without necessarily having access to the agent desktop or needing training in customer communication or anything else. Through side conversations, you can pull in through Slack or through email anyone in the organization and engage with them, right? It's all about collaboration. The second tenet that we've really invested in is knowledge. Zendesk Guide, Enterprise and Professional, has been, I think, our most successful add-on to the support product in the past couple of years. It's seen amazing growth. And that ability to capture all of the customer communication knowledge through this tool, embed it into actions, give agents through AnswerBot for Agents sort of next best response recommendations and these kind of things. We see a lot of engagement there if we can get our customers to kind of think about a knowledge strategy and start engaging. It allows us to take a tremendous amount of scatter of knowledge that's across tickets and centralize it in that way and help them organize it. The other productivity tools, of course, are still there, where there's more than 750 integrations in our App Store, and those will be available in the new agent desktop. Macros, ticket fields, these kind of bread and butter features of a support tool are all carried forward into this new agent desktop and just the way that we think of growing. Messaging, we talked about the conversational nature of this desktop. Messaging is definitely the new communication paradigm. It's not just for your kids and your European cousins. It's a thing that everybody is doing. It's the way that businesses are moving towards, having a persistent, ongoing narrative conversation between you and the customer. It's the way it needs to be. Now, there are regional differences, clearly, in the way that brands engage with their customers. In Greater China, I think WeChat has significant dominance. Twitter DMs amongst the hipster crowd, very important. I think North America, we see a lot of Facebook Messenger, etc. The social messaging add-on from Zendesk sort of gives you support for all of these. So if you're a global business, you can add, one price, all of these channels. Excellent way to add them in. But that's just one aspect, I think, of messaging as we look into the future, into the rest of 2020. There are ways that you interact with brands that are significantly important that aren't over social channels, right? There's potentially, your user in the mobile application is the identity that you want to use to have a conversation with the transportation company about the ride you just took in the car or with someone else. You don't need to authenticate in WhatsApp or in Facebook to do that. And so what we want to do is control that channel. It gives us a series of benefits. It's a feature of Sunshine Conversations already, and we can embed rich controls in there, satisfaction surveys, images, carousels, catalogs, even engaging commerce ultimately using the Sunshine Conversations platform. And I think the brands that we work with, the thousands of companies that have implemented Zendesk into their mobile applications, what they want to do is really control the conversation within their application and have it be a rich, flowing interaction. And I think us launching this persistent conversation mechanism, native conversations, is going to allow that. It also allows us allows our customers, really, it's going to allow our customers to bring in multiple people into those conversations. So restaurant, driver, customer can all have a communication without an agent being involved. A super powerful way to push conversations out to the edges of your business if you are a multi-sided marketplace or have just a more complex business, which is becoming the norm. As communication between brands and customers becomes more conversational, we'll also see more bot experiences being more powerful and more important in those interactions. And so we're building out our bot builder capabilities through AnswerBot to allow simple conversations to happen. That's planned for the rest of this year, so you can design an interaction flow which is directed. AnswerBot has already answered 3.5 million questions, and as we know, AnswerBot is a paid add-on for the Zendesk product. We've given back 9,000 years to customers, possibly dog years, not really sure, but it's becoming part of the flow of interaction for so many of our customers and saving tremendous time. And I think it just speaks to how efficiently knowledge and AI can be used. As we take it forward, we added 10 new languages this quarter. As we move to a language-independent model in our AI, as we take it forward, it can become more conversational. There will be these guided flows, non-guided flows. We'll enable API-based data lookups and these kind of things. And these features, along with the addition of the new language model, I think are going to have AnswerBot becoming more and more important in our sales cycle and see richer and more lucrative deployments for us of that. Next, I think we want to talk about Sales Suite. And to do that, I'm going to invite my colleague, Head of Product, Shauna Wolverton, up to speak to us about sales and the platform. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. So I am going to talk a little bit about sales and platform. First, Mikkel told you we're going to launch the Sales Suite. And this is really the idea that we wanted to bring the great things we did to support to the SFA market, right? It's easy, it's flexible, and it's great for teams who want a full vision of what's happening across their customer lifecycle from sales and service. It really removes the difficulty from teams and has them getting started really quickly. We're also launching with promotional pricing. So you'll see here for the suite and everything it includes, it's $79 for our professional edition and $125 per user per month for enterprise. And this is really 4 big pillars here. It's really about enhancing productivity. Zendesk Sell, from the beginning, sort of owned this conversational interface, bringing all of the information you have into one stream, and really we were ahead of the curve here. Zendesk Chat, it really brings the power of being able to reach out to customers, to talk to prospects on the websites, shorten those cycles, bring your visitors in to be prospects and opportunities. And Reach, like we mentioned, it's a great way to uncover new leads and to really enrich the data you have about your customers, powered by Clearbit. And the ability here, we know that a huge part of selling is talking and being on the phone. And it's important to understand which of those conversations are working and to make it super efficient for your reps to make those calls. And our voice product in the Sales Suite does that for you. like I said, it's really about focusing on the customer across any channel, whether you're calling, emailing. I know so many deals now that are happening across SMS. In this unified interface, the entire conversation you have is right there to really help sales people be more productive and less sort of attached to that field update work that happens often on Friday afternoons for someone's boss, and not because it actually helps them do the work of selling. And we know at the end of the day that selling relies entirely on having a great pipeline. And we really want to make sure that we're doing the work to help people understand what's happening across their company in that pipeline. So go out, find leads, convert them, and then understand what's happening in support. When you're talking to a customer, it's pretty important to understand how satisfied or not they might be with your services. And of course, we want to close those deals. This is so much about eliminating the work of CRM. I think a lot of reps feel like it's a tax that has to be paid. This is really about automating the work that has to be done, bringing things automatically in for auto-logging the activity that's happening, auto-logging those calls, so that your sales reps can focus more on selling. We have a great customer, both of sell and support here with Staples Canada. I think we think of them as a office supply, but they're really in the middle of a transformation here in sort of a working and learning company, more services. And they had a problem in that they were doing sales without that full view, right? One side of the business just didn't understand what was happening in the other. So there's 300 reps and agents now working together to bring that full view of the customer and to help both sell more and service better. So I'm going to talk now a little bit about Sunshine. As Mikkel mentioned earlier, we did launch, finally out of beta, all of the parts of the Sunshine platform. We have our profiles and events, as well as custom objects and conversations. We have some Sunshine that's included in all of our enterprise deals, but if people want more, we've got some great pricing here now around users per month for $19. We have a smaller set of objects and data limits, and for $59, we'll give you a whole bunch more. And why Sunshine? I think it's really, when we thought about what was missing here, was really this idea of putting the customer in the center of what you're doing. I think a lot of times there is this need to think of these interactions with customers as transactional. It's about opening a ticket, closing a ticket, getting it done. And really, if you can shift your thinking into understanding your relationships with your humans that are your customers and your partners and the people you're interacting with all the time, in the full context of that, those customer experiences pay tremendous dividends. But we know it's hard, right? Data is everywhere. We have sort of a Houstonian, no city planners kind of world that we all live in, where contact information is over here, the information you have about what they've bought, what they returned, it's everywhere. And it's incredibly difficult to make sense of all of this data. And we really think about why this is happening. I think it's because it's disconnected. There's a whole bunch of legacy systems here that handcuff developers, right? I can't believe in this day and age, but we still have software that doesn't have APIs, that doesn't allow you easy access to get data in and out of those systems. And so many of the systems that do exist are proprietary. It's about learning new technology or kind of getting locked in to specific and proprietary languages. So we're really, suffering a lot here in this world. Ooh. There we go. And really, I think Sunshine is the antidote, right? This is so much about bringing all of the data that you know about your customers and feeding it into all of the applications you use where you have great touch points with your customers. And this is really also about being open and flexible, right? It's native to AWS. There's nothing new to learn here. We're going to let your developers use the tools that they know and love already. And really bringing together this combination, in particular, of profiles, events, and objects, so that you sort of know who your customers are, know what they're doing with events, and all of the things that relate to them allow you to sort of organize and view this information in a way that leads to tremendously better and more personalized interactions. So, 3 big things we are launching today. So exciting. Not in Miami, but awesome in San Francisco. We have unified profiles so that you can better understand everything you know about your customers and all of those disparate data stores all over your organization, bring them together into a unified profile. Custom events so that you can bring in any data about the interactions you're having regardless of the system. So be it commerce or marketing, or even if you've got some great clienteling and you've got someone in your store, all of that data can come together to paint a really rich picture of how your customers are interacting with you. And then the AWS connector. This is really about making it easier to kind of harness the power of AWS with a streaming connector. It exposes all of Zendesk events out into other AWS services. So if you want to do any more kind of robust analysis or move those into other BI systems, you can now do that easily with clicks instead of writing deep integration code. So not in GA today, but in something we're giving some early access. Right now that you've brought all of that data together in the Zendesk platform, we want to make it actionable. So we are launching a new Sunshine Workflows product to kind of bring the power we've had in automations and triggers from our support product into the bigger portfolio of support and sell and the Sunshine platform. It's about saving time for your agents, it's about saving time for your developers, and it's about kind of bringing that efficiency and consistency across all of the ways you're dealing with your customers. And we're super excited. We have 2,500 customers who've sort of flipped the switch on Sunshine and are kind of seeing them across use cases and customers. And we know that this is just sort of the tip of the iceberg. And like I mentioned, we're making it really easy to sort of drive adoption here by giving everyone a little taste of this in our enterprise accounts. So what are customers doing? I think there's 3 big use cases we're seeing. There's one around this complete view of the customer. There's another one about personalization and making those experiences unique. And then we have this whole idea of proactivity and not waiting for your customers to reach out to you, but being able to really go out to them. We have a bunch of companies doing some really innovative stuff. Here we have a great use case around making the whole process of warranty management and getting help for just the products that you need super efficient and super fast. That was a move from another platform, and they found 3 times faster they were able to bring that data together and get that out to their customers and their agents. We have a great retailer who is doing a lot of work integrating a whole bunch of systems, commerce systems from other vendors, Zendesk. There was a lot of spreadsheets to kind of move data back and forth to help them manage their sort of voucher numbers that they were giving to customers. That was 17 days and something like 20 spreadsheets that got to go to the bin. So what we're seeing here a lot is some really great efficiency and some really great customization that's happening both for agents and for customers. And then some great proactivity, right? Being able to welcome guests as soon as they're on property is a really nice touch and sort of provides that differentiated experience. So we talked a lot about events and profiles and custom objects, but another really key part of our platform is the Sunshine Conversations API. And what we're doing here, we heard a lot earlier about how messaging is being a critical part of our new support agent desktop, and a lot of the things we're doing around building out social messaging inside of our applications, and so they work out of the box. But in addition, we have Sunshine Conversations as a core part of our platform. And it's really about giving developers the power to connect any channel into any system to bring messaging anywhere they need to do that, be it sales, service, support, marketing. It's incredibly flexible and incredibly powerful. And a lot here is about engagement in a conversational business. It's about unifying channels. Your customers could come to you from 3 different messaging places, and you might need that information to go into 2 or 3 different back-end systems. So really robust way to sort of bring it all together in a single conversation. And it's about embedding the conversational experience into any sort of website or application. And then the understanding that, when a lot of people can message you, you kind of need some help. And so we've made it really easy to integrate chatbots for sort of conversations at scale and to really help customers get answers faster and agents to have more time to really focus on some of the harder conversations. And then I think, there's some really great interactive experiences here. I think when we think about messaging, we think a lot about this sort of back and forth talking, but there is the power here inside of Sunshine Conversations to really do business transactions. You can see here, we have a great use case where from inside of the conversational API, we can push out the ability for a customer to pick another seat, maybe return their flight, all these things that sort of usually require going out of the experience to solve. You can really kind of close the loop on these from within the conversation. So I mentioned a little bit of a luxury hotel that really is going big on Sunshine Conversations. They've got unified channels. You can imagine working globally. They've got WhatsApp, they've got Line, they've got WeChat. This is working across dozens, hundreds of properties, and we have the ability to do these proactive messages. And then, of course, when you're traveling, you're probably in a lot of places where the native language is not your own. So we've built in translation here. So no matter what languages your customers or concierges in this example might speak, you can have really great conversations. And this is, it's been huge. Just in the last year of sort of bringing Sunshine Conversations on board, we have seen a tremendous growth in the conversations that are happening on our platform. Over 1 billion messages sent from 2018 to 2019, and we see this just continuing to grow. I think it's really easy sometimes when we live here, and we think like messaging a business, but you go anywhere else in the world and billboards have WhatsApp phone numbers on them, right? This is something that is happening, and we're seeing it grow tremendously, and I think it's imminent here. So one of the big announcements here as well is a notification API. If you think about the notifications you sometimes get on your phone from someone confirming a haircut or a doctor's appointment, you get those sort of dumb messages that are like, it's coming, do not reply to this message. But the notification API really allows you to trigger these notifications from any system, be it your e-commerce, your success or support application, your sales, anything, right? Reservation systems can trigger these notifications, and then they're dynamic. You can actually continue the conversation. Those conversations can be routed back to someone who can kind of engage in that conversation, reschedule it in real time, right? No more sort of just blast and hope no one, has an actual problem. It actually gives you an ability to do this in a really conversational way. And to launch here, we're starting with SMS and WhatsApp channels, but I'm sure more are coming. And then this is something I'm super excited about. In early access, we have the multi-party conversations functionality on the Sunshine API, Sunshine Conversations API. In this modern world, most of the transactions that we're in aren't always one-to-one, right? You have, you're sitting on your couch, you've ordered your dinner, it hasn't arrived. Who do you call? Do you call the people you ordered it from? Do you call the restaurant? Do you see the driver? He's maybe spinning around the block. Do you try to call the driver? So this is really about kind of unifying that conversation and giving people access in a way that is sort of compliant and, safe, so everyone has the ability to connect at the right time to solve the right problem. So we're really excited about this in sort of any of the marketplace scenarios, or even sort of inside of organizations where you have a whole bunch of people sometimes collaborating. So like I said, in early access is something we're really excited about and is well on its way. Sunshine Conversation pricing is a little different than the rest of our kind of per agent per seat pricing. So we have platform subscription and then some buckets of consumption and usage that are priced differently at scale here. So it makes it really easy for self-service companies to get started, and then some more flexible pricing as we go at market. So there's a lot more sort of coming on the roadmap for Sunshine this year. We're going to continue to invest in Sunshine workflows. Really, when you think about all of the different kinds of processes you might want to have when you've got data from sales and from support and in custom objects, and how you can more easily do approval returns or help people with onboarding. And then we're doing a lot with Sunshine admin tools and really making it easier for a lot more of our customers to adopt and get the benefit from our Sunshine tools. And then we know that a huge part of the success of our platform is this making developers successful. So we're investing in new dev docs, new sample applications, and some places for developers to hang out and really support each other as they come on board with the Sunshine developer experience. So that's the platform. I wanted to sort of wrap it back up here before I hand you off again. It's about everything we're doing right now is about powering every customer-facing conversation. You saw it in our messaging in the suite. You saw it in Sunshine Conversations. You saw the sort of conversational way that we're thinking about sales. We want to leverage technologies as much as we can to enable better CX. This is about helping customers help themselves better and faster with AI and creating great efficiencies with workflow. And we're thinking about, how do we really fill up this whole CRM space that we're in? We're talking about the great new suite launch we have for sales, as well as a lot of the improvements we've made to the support suite. And we really think we're redefining CX and what it means to have a platform in the modern age, one that's native in AWS, that's flexible, and keeps our customers on our platform because it's great, not because they're locked in. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mark and Tom to talk about transforming customer experience. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Shauna. As you know, we've done a lot of work around product over the last 2 years. It's great to see all of this come available in GA here in March, especially a lot of the components of Sunshine. So I'd like to introduce our COO, Tom Kaiser. You've met him before. But Tom also has a second job. He has a day job and then a job of travel. We have an executive sponsor program that all of us at Zendesk try to take care of. Tom meets a lot of our customers because he comes from a CIO background where he implemented some huge systems at big retailers. So with that, Tom, I'd like to just kind of go over some questions with you and help kind of maybe refine and deliver for investor speak how these things will work. So from a 30,000 foot view, how would you describe Sunshine and how we get customers interested in our version of a platform versus someone else's?
Yeah, I think today's exciting to see the reality of what we've been talking about now for about a year to come to life. We've had tremendous and made tremendous progress this year with Sunshine, with the capabilities that we've had available. And the way I look at Sunshine as a technology leader and as a leader around customer experience is it is a mechanism where you can really orchestrate bringing together your customer data that is trapped all over your company. And it doesn't matter if your company is a week old, a year old, or 100 years old. You've got customer data trapped in financial systems and support systems and marketing systems and sales systems. You've got third-party delivery going on. You've got data captured everywhere that would be super useful, and you can have really interesting use cases around those for customer support, sales, and marketing that you want to orchestrate and bring together. And Sunshine makes it very, very easy to do that. And we've built it so that we can take advantage of everything that's evolving with AWS and all the capabilities that AWS had put together. So it's something technology leaders and leaders of customer service organizations have been confounded by since the beginning of business, and we've always hoped that we would reach this day, and this day has now arrived. There's a mechanism to really be able to orchestrate the data to create the experiences you want.
So as we kind of now unveil all of the capabilities of Sunshine, how do you see customers reacting to it, and how do we get them to think about taking the next step, which is that digital transformation or some type of modernization to bring them to that higher level of customer experience that some of our other customers have already done?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing, I think we've got over 2,500 customers doing different things with Sunshine, and like many parts of our product, they're innovating and creating use cases and ideas that we've enabled, but could have never actually come up with ourselves. The initial use cases are, around what was available to our customers around custom objects, which has allowed our customers to model in different data elements that are useful to respond to customers. So they're very much customer service, customer support, customer communications related. And they've been, great use cases that you would expect around companies that have products to sell or services to sell, and have modeled those into their experience, where they may want to bring some other data that around deliveries, or data that is around some form of use, or the common question that every product-oriented company has that everyone calls in, which is, where's my stuff? There are just ways that they can orchestrate data to be able to answer those questions much more quickly. So it's driving speed. So we're enabling customer service reps to more quickly respond to customers by having all of the data they need and not having to swivel chair around. That impacts customer satisfaction, because all of us vote with our feet. If things are slow, we're not happy. We're happy if we can respond to things quickly, and it's enabling customer service and technology organizations to try things quickly, to really be able to test. Every chief customer officer, every CIO, they've got a list of 3, 4, 5, 10 things that they want to be able to do. And what Sunshine enables you to do is really get after some of those things focused on your customers really quickly and try them and see how they work.
So, one of the advantages and one of the, I think, unique propositions around Zendesk from our early days has been how quickly we can help customers implement new services. Are we, I know it's early, but are we proving that we can implement quickly some of the Sunshine capabilities for some of the early customers we have? Yeah,
it's super exciting. And you've seen some of the brands mentioned up here and discussed. But if we look at Logitech and what we did there, where we had a relatively fast implementation. They were replacing Salesforce, and they wanted to move on to Zendesk, but not just Zendesk from a customer service standpoint. They wanted to take advantage of the aspects that we brought to bear around Sunshine custom objects. Logitech has over 30,000 SKUs. The SKUs are technical, they're complex. There's a lot of documentation that goes along with those SKUs. There's warranties that customers can buy. They sell through both businesses, through retailers, through other forms of channels, as well as directly to consumers. So their customer service reps, to be able to respond to a customer coming in, we're having to swivel chair and look into SAP, into the warranty system that they had custom built, into a whole series of different systems, which led to 10, 15, 20-minute conversations with customers. When customers were calling with very specific questions around why their product didn't work, or what they could do to make it work, or how to get a refund for their product. So they started with some very specific use cases to really orchestrate bringing that data that was captured in legacy difficult systems and taking away just the swivel chairing for the customer service reps so that they could respond more quickly. And as an early step of driving a set of experiences that they want to take from reactive customer support and customer communication, where the customer has contacted you, to being able to orchestrate that data and really understand how to get in front of that and get proactive on it. So it's been iterative in the Zendesk way. It's not one giant big bang. It's you keep iterating and keep trying and building and bringing data together to create the experience and keep driving the value for customers through speed, through enabling your customer service reps, and ultimately through enabling your customers as well.
That's a great story.
Yeah, we got lots of them. We've got another great story with Peloton. Everyone, well, not everyone knows and loves Peloton, but Peloton's a very expensive piece of equipment. It's a very white glove experience that Peloton wants to create for their customers. Peloton builds great products. They create great content to use those products. But people are using those products in their home. And so that product has to get to the home, and that has to be a great experience when it's delivered and delivered on time, and the product has to work. So if there's an issue with the product, you need a great white glove set of experiences around that service. And Peloton does that and with all kinds of different internal processes and people and external processes and people. And similar to what I described for Logitech, they were having to swivel chair a lot to be able to piece together what was happening with a particular customer. And so how do you orchestrate bringing all of that data together from all of those places to be able to answer those top 10 questions that are coming in from your customers quickly, like really quickly, and in a way that they would expect it. And so we've been on a journey with them, iterating through, continuing to improve and to create that better set of experiences through speed, through a more quality set of answers, and watching their customer satisfaction rise around that. And we had a huge push this year. Peloton had a massive holiday push with a bunch of different special offers. So we were in a race to get them ready to be able to deliver on that holiday promise, which was super exciting for us.
Yeah, these are very successful examples for not only Zendesk, but the companies that are implementing it to provide that better customer experience. So I want to ask one last question before we move on with the program, and that is a lot of the things you described are complex. A lot more complex than where Zendesk roots were, where we provided only a support solution. My view is that partners, especially GSIs over time, have to become a part of our community, a part of our ecosystem to really help support us as we take those next steps. I know you're spending some time with some of those GSIs, in addition to others, within Zendesk that do the same. What's your view of how we attract GSIs and get them to work with us in a bigger way? I could think about the fact that we're on AWS natively, but let's hear from you what you think are the things that really drive GSI, the GSI interest in Zendesk.
Yeah, I think we've spent Norman and I've spent the last couple of years really building relationships and stepping more and more into stronger GSI partnerships. And the excitement that we see out of the partners that we have and the prospect partners that we have is around how innovative and modern our technology is and how it is disrupting industries, whole industries, where a disruptor has built customer experience and product or service at the center of what they do and have gone after traditional industries. And GSIs want to be a part of modern technology. The penalty we've had is our product implements so easily and so fast, and they like really long, complicated transformations. Our move to a platform, to Sunshine, and the ability to orchestrate lots of different experiences. If you listen to what Shauna and Adrian were talking about today around, the general availability today of events, and thinking about what that means of how you extend, like the examples I just gave for a Logitech or for a Peloton, where you can start capturing relevant information about the actual products and the use of the products and issues with the products, so you can truly start thinking about proactive use cases or more valuable use cases. That leads you into all kinds of more thorough and lengthy and innovative business driving value innovations that they can can be a part of that look a lot more interesting. Like really thinking through full digital transformations around the customer experience and how you go on that journey. It's not something you can do like that. It is iterative. You've got to keep testing and learning as you go through it. And so that looks very appealing. And the reality that if you look at, pick the top or the 25 largest companies in the world and what they do around customer experience, and specifically those companies that don't sell directly to consumers but sell through other providers and are now trying to figure out how to innovate with those consumers directly. There's a vast rethink and innovation that's going to go on in that space. It's underway in different components, but that is still to come that will create a tremendous opportunity for transformation as well. So, we see nothing but upside and positive of what's going to come with our partners as they learn and understand what we're doing and see how different it is from traditional ERP or even our traditional competitors in the customer experience and the CRM space.
That's great. We'll see some numbers a little bit later from Elena on that. So with that, we're going to continue the program with our next speaker, which is Norm. And we'll have you back at the podium here, Norm.
Okay, so I'm going to jump into a little bit about how we're evolving our go-to-market strategy, and especially the go-to-market sales organization as we look to that next wave of growth that we're pushing for. So let's jump into to what Mikkel talked about a little bit earlier, which is companies are turning to us because of what we know best, which is that customer experience and relationship. And so we're taking that service-first approach and helping companies of all types and sizes deliver a more transparent, a more responsive, and certainly a more engaged customer experience. And so if you have these solutions that are built for both customer service and sales, balancing that with this simplicity and moving to sophisticated approach, all built on the common platform, you have a very powerful solution. And so we win, as we talked about earlier, because our solution's easy to buy, it's easy to implement, it's easy to use. And those differentiators, being grounded in that customer experience, easy to work with, use, and implement on top of that open and flexible platform, it gives you not only the best total cost of ownership, it connects all of those businesses and customer touch points that you need to do, which has given our products and offering a broad reach, as you can see here, across companies of all sizes, industries, and realistically even countries. So from the startups we all know and love to the mid-sized companies around the world and the enterprise accounts like Stanley Decker, Black & Decker, Ingersoll Rand, Under Armour, all of those are great references for Zendesk. So as you know, we've been in the enterprise for a while. And it's been a significant part of our business, and it's been supporting the growth that we've been driving. When you look at our 100-plus agents, that continues to grow along with the RPO, right? So our engagement and importance within these larger accounts can be demonstrated by those metrics. And as we look out into 2020, we're focused on growing the enterprise business and scaling up the teams that we have to support it. And so obviously that starts first with the product and the platform which we're taking to market. And Adrian's talked about what we're doing there, and the teams are very excited about how we can actually bring that to customers. It broadens the conversations beyond just that support silo, which we've been in the past, and across the C-suite. But we've also invested in the go-to-market team, and we're hiring enterprise sales leadership and reps globally to go bring this message to market. And along with this, we have a partner engagement that Tom just talked about. It's getting us into more enterprise accounts, and it's helping those customers that we talk to transform that customer engagement. So look, what we see is enterprises looking for an omni-channel solution, and we've talked about this before. It allows us to have a strategic conversation around it and all of the tools that can be leveraged. So the suite makes that easier for us to present it. And it gives us options and ways to engage with a customer, including these emerging modes like messaging. It expands the deal size, but it also up-levels, most importantly, that conversation that we're having and crosses over into these other business units. And so when you look just at the suite book of business, we grew that almost at 200% year over year in 2019. So the message is resonating in these accounts. But with these enterprise customers, Sunshine is also expanding that conversation, especially when we're talking about a company's vision of where they want to go and how they can then map it back to our technology. So running on the public cloud, connecting that rich customer data we have with their other systems, as Tom talked about, the data lakes and data warehouses that they have running on AWS, and doing it with that modern tooling that developers love. It's a vision that they want to hear and be part of. You add on messaging, and what we're enabling companies to do is kind of meet their customers where they are. So that interactive experience allows their customers to discover, engage, transact, and then grow with them, right? Without ever leaving that messaging construct that the customer's on. So you build the experience right into your brand's website, into their mobile apps, your products, wherever you decide. And what we're doing this now is with thousands of customers. So most importantly for me in the enterprise space, though, is really advising our customers on that CX journey and allowing them to start now, quickly, right? So they can move from that simple to sophisticated approach on their time frame. And that ability to start now and make quick progress, at the same time have a solution that meets the needs of where they want to go, well, that's our value prop in allowing us to be successful. That advising that we're doing for the customers goes well beyond sales, though, right? It's a complete company motion that we have. So you have product, marketing, sales, along with our customer experience people and our partners working together to help our customers rethink and execute along that long-term roadmap that they have. And then speaking of partners, right, we've been focused on this ecosystem, as you know, and we continue to push across all of the vectors, right? So we're actively engaged right now with 5 of the top 10 GSIs. We're increasing our investments in that area. And then if you look at the GSIs, the BPOs, and the AWS partners, they're all incredibly important in this enterprise space. And you should be seeing a number of logos on this slide that we haven't shown before. So there's really solid partner momentum, right? 1,200 plus partners currently. It's a 50% increase year over year. And they've just about doubled their spend and the bookings contribution from 2018. As much as we talk about the enterprise and what we're doing in that space, though, I want to remind you that the SMB business for us is incredibly important, right? We continue to drive strong growth here, and we're focused really on 4 main areas as we go into 2020. So certainly the product innovation, right? You're seeing a lot of that today. We think this resonates in the SMB space. We're trying to drive this sales efficiency through our web try buy motion, enabling customers to go on and self-service buy and purchase our products, frees up our sales reps, of course, drives bigger deals and allows them to work on new business. But the partners are also incredibly important in this space, and part of that 1,200 that we have focus in this market. So Sharon also owns that global approach about taking our partners and our sales methodology across the globe and kind of engaging on a consistency of practice there. It's an important segment of the business and one we're incredibly focused on. Speaking of which, we'll let Elena talk about some numbers.
Hey everyone, I'm going to go through our financials and then we'll open it up for Q&A. All right. So just starting to share a little bit about our journey. We went public in 2014. I got here in about 2016, May-ish, and 2 days later we had an investor day. And at that point I said we'd be $1 billion company. So I'm super confident to share today that we're about $1.06 billion at our midpoint of our guide. So very proud of that. But our ambitions don't end there. Actually, we want to be a multi-billion-dollar company. And with all of the product that we launched today, I'm so confident about our ability to become $1 billion company. Speaking of all of our product, each time we drive more innovation to the market, it expands our TAM. 3-4 years ago, I would have said our TAM was 10 to 15 billion, but with the addition of things like Future Simple and Smooch, we've expanded our TAM tremendously, and we'll continue to do that. We believe the opportunity today is around 25 billion and growing. So let's take a little step back and give you some context on where we've been in terms of financials. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we've grown the business 45%, really proud about that metric. We continue to focus on high growth. And at the same time, we've been delivering operating leverage every single year, and that continues to be really important to us. Gross margin is a key part of delivering on that operating leverage. Obviously, you guys are all aware that we've moved to 100% cloud in 2019, and we continue to focus on our optimization of our data infrastructure and the amount of money we spend there. So that is a critical part of continuing to grow our gross margin. We continue to believe we will get to high 70% gross margin over the next several years as we become a multi-year company. Really, the focus has been on innovation, and you can see that when you look at our R&D spend as a percentage of revenue. Where we've driven scale is really in our sales and marketing efforts as well as our G&A efforts. That will not change. For us to continue to drive operating leverage, we really need to scale a company in every aspect of our business. We will continue to innovate, but obviously the rest of the company has to continue to drive leverage. Something we're really proud about is our dollar-based net expansion rate. As you can see from the graph, it continues to be incredibly consistent. We're really happy if it falls within the 110 to 120% range. You can see we've been consistent over time, and really, as you guys think about our expansion, a lot of that expansion just comes from the growth of our customers, but also as we add more product, we will see a lot more expansion from continued adoption of our products. RPO, we're really happy with. RPO, as a reminder, is a good proxy for our enterprise business, and we're really proud of the fact that we continue to grow even current RPO 40%, but long-term RPO even longer. And this is a great, like I said, proxy for our enterprise traction. Free cash flow is something that we are obviously paying attention to and very focused on. You'll notice for 2020, the free cash flow growth is a bit muted, and that's because we've made a change in our invoicing of certain subset of our customers. We talked about that on the earnings call. I just want to remind everyone that we are going through with that. We made that change actually in March. So what that really means is instead of collecting billings from our customers for 12 months this year, we're going to collect it for 11 months. We'll be back to our normal cadence of billing next year. We felt this was a really important change to eliminate some of the friction we had with our customers. So overall, I think this will be a very positive and well-received change for our customers. So as I think about the growth levers of the business over the next several years, they're the same things we've talked about: growing the enterprise business, differentiated and continued product innovation with Sunshine at its core, growing the partner ecosystem. Norm talked about and shared a very encouraging slide, and then continuing traction in our international business. So why is enterprise such an important focus for us? Primarily because we know that the lifetime value and CAC of these customers is 3x of the rest of our customer base. Why is that? Well, primarily because these customers stay longer with us. As well, they tend to be bigger customers. They've made a commitment to Zendesk and using all of our products. Norm showed this stat earlier. It's really important for us to continue to gain more enterprise customers. We've proven our ability to do that over the last several years. We like this metric to move roughly 1% to 2% a year. It is a mixed metric, so just remember that. But generally speaking, you should see this metric move 1 to 2 points a year. So about our products, you can see from when I started around 2016, the percentage of customers with more than one logo was less than 10%. Today, I'm happy to say it's almost 30% of our customers that have multiple Zendesk products, which over time, as you guys know, that makes a stickier customer and improves our retention of those customers. We had a ton of announcements today that you heard about by my peers earlier today. Super excited about those. I know what the question will be. You guys are asking, so Elena, what does that mean to our financials? So at the highest altitude, if you think about support, once you add all of our other products plus Sunshine, what we can see, if a customer had all of these products, it would be 3x the deal size. Obviously, not all customers are going to have each of these products, but it just speaks to the opportunity that we have. When you take a example customer, and this is a real customer, we've taken off the name, you can see that this customer several years ago had one product. They added other products you see on the page. If they were to add now Sunshine on top of this, and this is a customer who had Sunshine last year, the uplift would be between 15 and 40%, depending on the version of Sunshine they buy, whether they buy professional or enterprise. Again, this was really just to share with you the opportunity available to us. Now it's up to Norm to go sell all of this stuff. Partner ecosystem, we've not really shared this metric before, but I'm sharing this because this speaks to the opportunity we have. We have a lot more partners today than we had a year ago. That matters less to me than what they contribute in terms of our revenue. Norm knows that. And so this tells me, wow, what an opportunity. I know so many companies who generate so much of their partner revenue, north of 50% of their ACV or ARR typically comes from partners. So we've got a long way to go, but this also speaks to the opportunity ahead, also gives me the confidence that there's still a lot more to do with the partner ecosystem. International continues to be a growth vector for us. As you guys know, our footprint is roughly half and half. We believe there continues to be a huge opportunity internationally as we roll out more of our products. This will not change. We have said, as you guys know, we're looking for a COO for both EMEA and APAC. We are also looking for senior level sales leaders for both of those regions. We will have more information about that in Q2, but we've made a ton of progress over the last, I would say, 30 to 40 days. Just to close out, I'm super confident of where we are. I think there's so much opportunity ahead. Super encouraged by the products we launched today. And so with that, I will oh wait, I forgot this very important slide. So this slide, a lot of people have asked me about this. Elena, are you still following this framework? Absolutely. This is where we start our planning process. The reason we deviated from this year is because I felt that we as a management team made this decision. We had so much opportunity ahead of us with our product launches, with our partner ecosystem, with growing the enterprise business. So that was why this year we're deviating a little bit from this profitability, but that is where we start our discussion, and we are committed to delivering operating leverage every single year. This is the mandatory slide that Mikkel said. But I'll just close with, obviously, we have a lot of product. We have a lot of TAM available to us. We have two very strong businesses in our company. Both are really critical to our multi-billion-dollar journey. Thank you.
Instructions on how you can submit questions if you haven't figured it out already.
Yes, last night I sent an email with a link to Google Forms. So if you can go to the Google Form link, you can submit a question and we'll ask it on your behalf.
Perfect. Thanks, Karen. So we have the team here, and before we go to questions from the field, there's a question I received after Elena and I presented at the Morgan Stanley conference that I want to make sure that we address and clarify because it's generated some conversation, as you can imagine. And Elena, the question is, we at our Morgan Stanley presentation had discussed the fact that the risk profile of the 2020s changed. Can you kind of illuminate or kind of refine kind of what we intended to communicate through that?
Sure. So, I think there's a couple points I would make. One is the macro environment obviously has changed, and the backdrop in which we're operating has changed over the last 30 days. In addition to that, we canceled our flagship event, which is an annual event we have. It's a really important event for us. And so the combination of those two things, first of all, canceling that event was unprecedented. It's something we haven't seen done before. And you combine the backdrop of the economic environment that we're seeing, it's really introduced risks that we didn't have 30, 40 days ago. And frankly, it's continuing to evolve and change every day. And so that's why we wanted to make sure that we were not tone deaf to that. And so that was the intent of the comment.
Great.
Thank you, Elena. And related to that, an investor asked the question similar to what you talked about at Morgan Stanley, and they wanted to know why Zendesk is seeing an impact when other software companies have said they are not seeing an impact.
I can't speak to what other companies are commenting on, but I can speak to what we're assessing. And with us, we canceled our flagship conference. And I think we're all reading the same headlines, right? And so we know that the environment has changed, and we felt like we needed to acknowledge that.
I think it's also fair just to add that almost 50% of our revenue come from outside the U.S., and so we are taking a cautious view of things.
Is the camera on us?
All right,
We
next
have two
question.
cameras. We have two split cameras today. So you're on camera, yes.
Which-
Yes, you do.
All right, the next question. Which two products will contribute the most to bookings in 2020 among Explore, Sell, Sunshine Conversations, and Sunshine CRM?
So if you want me to stack rank them, I would say Sell and Sunshine Conversations, they've just been out in the market a bit longer. And obviously with the launch of Sunshine CRM and Explore, those are, they're going to ramp this year. But in terms of meaningful revenue, I would say the first two will have more meaningful revenue for us in 2020.
Tom, did you want to add to that? You picked up the mic or not? No?
I was trying to hand the mic.
Good.
All right, next question comes from Steve Koenig at Wedbush Securities. How, if at all, will you adjust your go-to-market focus, tactics, spending plans in anticipation of or response to coronavirus-related demand disruption? What is the timing of any adjustments? Thank you.
Yes, I'll take this one. Look, when it comes to our go-to-market, as Mark has said a couple times, we are half outside of the U.S., and so we've seen this already in those markets where people are working from home or other ways of dealing with the virus. So our teams use all of the technology. Our teams use all of the technology that you would normally associate with a modern sales force. We're used to conversing with those companies over the web and leveraging it. We are fortunate. Our products are very easy to understand. They are beautifully simple, so we show that to our customers, and they can drive very quickly in terms of that engagement.
All right, next question comes from Koji Akita from Oppenheimer and Company. Could you walk through some examples of how customers would use the Sunshine platform that would drive the customer to be upsold from Lite, which looks to be included with the enterprise support and support suite subscriptions, to Sunshine Professional and then Enterprise? Thank you.
Well, can you repeat the question, sorry?
Sure. It was, can you walk through some examples of how customers would use the Sunshine platform that would drive the customer to be upsold from Lite, which looks to be included with the enterprise support and support suite, to Sunshine Professional and then Enterprise?
Yeah. So the Lite product is meant for our developers that are looking to see how they can engage with Sunshine and get started along the journey. Our professional and enterprise versions of it are when they're scaling it up and they're using it inside of their systems, right? So for us, it's a pretty clear delineation. Customers, we want to have access to Sunshine, start experimenting with it, playing with it, move on to the professional and enterprise versions of the product when they're ready to go.
All right, next question comes from Kirk Matern of Evercore. For Elena, how do you foresee the new pricing for the support suite impacting growth this year? Is the price adjustment baked into the guidance, or is the price change something that will have a bigger impact in fiscal year '21?
So we're not changing guidance because of these product launches, but obviously as we planned the year, we took into consideration what we were launching, et cetera. I would say the 2 launches we made this year will have a greater impact in 2021.
Yeah, just a reminder that product launch, the pricing is being disclosed today, but it goes into effect later in the year. So I think it's fair to assume that it'll be fiscal year 21.
All right, next question from Arjun Bhatia from William Blair. You talked about Logitech replacing Salesforce for Sunshine, but how are you broadly thinking about the ability to attract net new customers to Zendesk with Sunshine versus cross-selling into the existing customer base? What are the trends you have seen thus far with the 2,500 customers you have on Sunshine?
I'll make up an answer, and then Norman Adrian will answer it correctly. I mean, to me, the opportunity is both. The new opportunity for us is to have a much broader conversation with prospects, with companies that are trying to solve really complex customer experience, customer communication challenges, and that they are not seeing the solutions emerge from the existing traditional players in that place. And they're learning and they're seeing our story and the differentiators that we bring to solving these problems. So I think we have a tremendous new opportunity in mid-market and in enterprise around bringing the full Sunshine capabilities together and opening their eyes up to what the possibilities are. And then the expansion opportunities are obvious. We have so many high-growth companies as customers that are working off of Zendesk. They're building their own stuff. They're building their own apps. And we simplify that because those companies, when you go through high growth, you hit kind of the wall on the things that you've built or the things that have helped you be successful as you go through the different growth levels. And there's tremendous opportunities for them to step back and to re-platform fully on Sunshine. So I look at it as both. But now I'll let the professionals answer.
Well, I'd start off by saying the way that we got Logitech was through Sunshine. That was a new account for us. So it was very important for them to see that capability and leverage it coming over to Zendesk. But as we think of the companies, it's like Tom said, it's not just the Fortune 500 that are going to be using Sunshine. This goes all the way down our install base and our new prospects. The ability for them to bring in events, objects, and make that entire customer engagement much more engaging. That Shauna talked about earlier.
Yeah, I think also it's fair to say that some of the GSIs that are working with us today became interested in us because of the Sunshine Platform capabilities.
Certainly, I think they see that openness that we're able to bring, and the ability for them to apply their knowledge and expertise on top of Sunshine is important.
So do we demonstrate as a unique opportunity because all the other platforms do have some walled garden notions around them?
I think Adrian and Shauna have said that numerous times, right? This is one of the openings that we have, is that open platform, and the ability for them to come in and add to it makes it incredibly useful.
I think that coupled with, if you look at the Amazon Event Connector that we have right now for AWS and the way that we deploy Sunshine Conversations, it's all about, for existing customers, it's about having them not need to look elsewhere for a great data solution to build data-based CX experiences. And I think ditto for conversational experiences, either for new or existing customers.
Great.
All right, next question from Kirk Materne of Evercore. What's realistic in terms of the time frame needed for Zendesk to start seeing a more steady cadence of Fortune 500 customer wins? And how important is getting some of your new partners comfortable with Sunshine's capabilities when you think about the very high end of the market?
I'll take that one again. Fortune 500, important, but not critical for our success. We think much broader than that, and we hopefully have kind of expressed that when we talked about the number of customers, both in startup, commercial, and enterprise, that look at Zendesk. As we just talked about, I think the GSIs are incredibly important for our adoption into this space, and Sunshine helps them. As we look at it with them and talk to them about it, I think they're incredibly excited about what the product can do today and the ability that they can build on it. Logitech proves that point out, but there's many others that are doing things with Sunshine that enable us to kind of prove that the platform where it is today is incredibly valuable, and the vision for where we see that product going and the capabilities there will help us get that entry point.
All right, next question from Stan Zlotsky of Morgan Stanley. Can you give us any sense for the magnitude of billings impact from the invoice change to Q1 and Q4 of 2020?
Yeah, I think I'll answer that one. So when we think about the impact, all of our customers that are not on a credit card rebilling type of scenario were invoiced. And so at some point this year, they will be invoiced, but they'll be invoiced 30 days later than what would have happened historically. So from a 30,000, 35,000 foot view, I still think about it. The best way to do the analysis is to say, once you take out some of those monthly customers, the rest of those customers, we're going to collect 11 months of revenue in cash from them rather than 12. Next year, we'll go back to 12. From a revenue recognition perspective, there are no impacts. It is just a cash collection. We move cash collections 30 days for that set of customers that are invoiced.
Next question from Phil Winslow of Wells Fargo. You have a diversified business internationally. What are you seeing in terms of the near-term pipeline and close rates by geography, i.e. larger deals on pause?
Norm, do you want to, I know that we've been working through most of the challenges you've had internationally, but work from home is instituted in some of the markets, not many of them though.
Yeah, I'd hate to say that deals are put on pause. Enterprise deals take a long time to build out and to work through regardless, right? And so the conversations that we're having with customers right now is about how we can help them transform that customer experience. I think there's tremendous amount of interest in it. The products that we released today, the announcements that we made today are something that they're incredibly interested in and looking at with us and the GSIs about how they implement those things. So, pipeline is something that we're obviously working on constantly, and we'll continue to push regardless of the environment.
Norm, I think it's fair to say that, through this environment, companies that are doing these long-term digital transformation plans, really, there might be some timing issues, but they're not going to abandon these given what we're seeing today.
I think that's a fair assessment, right?
Yeah.
Timing will always be adjusted, but at the end of the day, these are critical improvements that they need to make to their infrastructure and their engagement process with customers.
Great.
All right, next question from Samad Samana of Jefferies. Can you quantify how large of a demand gen event Relate is for Zendesk? Are there plans to have a rescheduled event?
So I'll just talk about the reschedule. So Relate 2020, there will be some parts of it that will be presented virtually the week of March 23rd. And I think we will be doing a lot more around webinars to educate our customers around some of the new attributes and opportunities for the products. But do you guys want to add anything specifically on that around what we're doing?
Well, look, Relate is an incredibly important event, and Jeff's not up here, but if he were, I'm sure he'd talk about the number of prospects that we have go to that event, as well as existing customers who are important to us. So I think there's ways that we can transform that and take the engagement that we were going to give them in Miami virtually and work on other ways of kind of driving that momentum that we expected out of it.
All right, just a reminder to submit questions through the Google Forms if you have any other questions. Next question comes from Phil Winslow of Wells Fargo. Could you walk through the thought process in terms of the setting on the pricing model for Sunshine?
I took a crack at that. Sure. I think Sunshine is a little different for us because we're we're thinking about, it looks a lot more like a web service that should be priced through utility-based pricing, but we did want to offer some predictability and stability for our customers so that they would understand it. The other tension there is, of course, is that you need, as Norm mentioned, we want as many people as possible to be building, not worrying about the costs, deploying, and really only paying for value when they reach a scale which is interesting. So our goal is to extract payment for value delivered from customers who are in production and working and have an interesting use case and a slightly scaled business of any scale. And I think by having our tiered pricing, by thinking about the object relationship conversation limits and these kind of things, we try to balance out all of those forces that both got as many people using it as possible and really got them engaged in the product and could have us begin attacking solutions for our customers, driving new enterprise business for the support product and everything else, but also keeping Elena happy about gross margin and extracting value, which she reminds me constantly is important.
All right, this is the last question, unless there's any other questions to submit. From Brad Sills of B of A Merrill Lynch. Have you shifted focus from partner recruitment to partner success development, and what might this mean for partner channel momentum?
Look, we're going to press on both. So as much as Elena talked about, we want to see partners driving revenue. There are still gaps in our partner model where we need additional ones to fill those in. So we will continue to press on bringing more partners into the ecosystem, making sure across all of those vectors that we talked about, the GSIs, the BPOs, the tech partners, all of those are incredibly important for us, and there's still room to bring on additional ones. With that said, we are also building out the partner team to drive revenue with those partners. So go-to-market activities where we can engage with our customers and the partner and talk about the value that the three bring together.
All right, that's the last question.
All right, so unless anybody on the panel has any closing comments they want to make, we are a wrap. No comments? Okay, so next year we hope to see everyone live. But in the meantime, this is the best we could do from San Francisco headquarters. We're signing off. Thank you.